Hey everyone, and welcome to Mommy Mondays. I have these 3 things to show you because there's a couple of different things that we've been doing in our breastfeeding journey that is a little different from other people that I've seen breastfeed. So a little backstory. So I have a little infant. He is how old is he? He's 6 weeks old and a couple of days. And the thing about it is that we recently had to do a tongue tie revision because he was not gaining weight. And okay, I take it back. He was gaining weight, but he only gained an ounce and a half in a week, which is a little concerning, right? Because they usually gain about an ounce or 5 to 7 ounces in a week, which was not happening with the 1.5. So we had to start supplementing. There was worry about my supply. Worry about my supply has been there from the beginning, especially because baby has spent his first 2 weeks in the hospital due to a number of different things. So when I spent most of my time at the hospital so I could breastfeed because that was something that I really wanted to do. I wanted to breastfeed. You know, they say all the wonderful benefits of breastfeeding. That's basically what kept me going. But then occasionally I would miss a feeding because I would leave home to like take a shower, eat food or something, right? Just trying to leave as well because I was spending like 12-hour shifts, if not longer, at the hospital. Pretty wearing, especially after you give birth. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I would leave, and during that time they would give him a bottle, right? Which I was like, I hated it because then I was like, how come I'm not there to feed my baby? And what if there's nipple confusion and my breast milk is better than that? But then at the same time, it's kind of like, I need a rest. I'm super tired. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you just have to weigh out the pros and cons and do what's best for you and the baby and what is sustainable. Because you don't want to be like a candle burning at both ends, which was what I was doing those days. Anyways, so while they were doing all kinds of things because they were trying to determine what was up with baby, we came up through a couple of stuff. Now, one of that is the Dr. Brown's bottle. Now this is really cool because you see that blue thing inside? I'm gonna take it out. That is essentially what allows your baby to not drink that fast. You see how that is? So when you give the bottle, you tilt the bottle horizontally, right? That way, it's pacing the baby. It's called a paced feed. Because you don't want the baby to drink like down the 2 ounces, 3 ounces, 4 ounces in like super quick time, right? My baby, if you let him, if you were not pacing him, he would drink the 2 ounces, even like in NICU, he would drink the 2 ounces under 10 minutes. He has a really strong suck. So yeah, that was not the best thing to do, and especially because that can cause a lot of air, like, you know, get them to get air inside and feel gassy and all this stuff. So this is really cool because then you have this, which enables less milk to go in, but then you also have this preemie nipple. There's different sizes of nipples. We went with preemie because of how strong his suck is, and he was still managing to get quite a bit. But we use this nipple too because it's a smaller hole, so it means he has to work longer and harder to get it, which is important, especially if you want to stimulate something closer to breastfeeding. You know what I mean? Because you don't want the baby then to get frustrated that he's not able to drink as much off the breast. You know what I'm saying? So super important. Actually, a lot of speech pathologists recommend these. My sister, who's getting her master's right now in speech pathology and works with the speech pathologist and all this kind of stuff, and even the speech pathologists at the hospital were like, this is the one for your baby. So we haven't introduced the bottle yet because, again, worry about my supply. I want to make sure he's steadily gaining before I let Victor take over a feed, because sometimes you just need time for yourself. And I am counting down. I know for a fact that once he hits 3 months, I know who I'm gonna hit up, because Victor and I are gonna go on a date. And yeah, because I'm just like, like, we need some me time. I need some me time. And yeah, or just let him be, like, Victor take the baby, because he's been excited to do that. He's like, can I take the baby? But I'm always like, not yet. Nipple confusion, building my supply. We need to make sure everything's okay. Now, the other thing that we use for the supplementing the feedings is this. This is called an SNS. Now, they all look different, okay? They're all different. There's not one that is alike. because there's some that you can put up here and it's like a little pouch where you hang around your neck. This is the one I got from my lactation specialist. And essentially it's this little tube down here. As you can see, it's a pretty long tube. But essentially you put milk in here or formula, either your breast milk, donor milk, formula, whatever. And basically what you do is you take this, and while you're breastfeeding, I'm gonna do a little demo. While you're breastfeeding, baby's attached, right? You basically do this. You slip it through into their mouth. Now it can be hard because they're sealed quite tightly around the breast, so putting it in can be a little difficult sometimes. But yeah, there's a little hole here at the end, and you would stick that in. Now you still have to pace the baby with this because it's like a straw. You know, you drink out of a straw, like you drink super quick. So that was one thing. I always had to measure how much he was eating, or how quickly he was going through it, because I'm like, okay, 15 milliliters, let me go ahead and burp you. Because there was one time where we didn't do that, he threw up. Well, we were burping him, he spit up. You know, it wasn't throw up, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want that happening. And that's because he ate way too fast. So yeah, this can be a little hard because depending on where you're breastfeeding, you're just kind of like, who holds this when I try to hold the baby and then introduce this? So that's why the one that hangs on is really cool, because then you just have to worry about holding baby and that kind of stuff. But then again, I only saw that once. I looked up how to use this. The lactation specialist kind of went through it, but I was ready to go. So it's kind of like, all right, cool, I'll look it up on YouTube. I don't know that I saw anybody on YouTube with this, but the ones that I've seen on YouTube, I think are the ones that most people use. But yeah, same thing, just looks different. Now the other thing, so these, I don't use this one yet. I've been using this one. I actually stopped using it since he's been gaining weight well, just to make sure that he's okay with just my breast milk, because that's super important for me. The one thing that I have used religiously from the beginning is this. You're like, what the heck is this? This is called the Haakaa. This is really cool. It's a little silicone thing, because this is essentially what you do. You grab this and you put it on your breast, and you like, well, usually it suctions on. It doesn't do it on, but it suctions on, and you just leave it there. So essentially you're nursing baby on this side, and you're catching your lead down from the other breast, which is really nice, because in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, look at all the precious milk I'm wasting, right? Especially if you're trying to build a stash, you're like, great. But if you're home, because I haven't done this in public, but usually when I'm at home or at night, I'll put this on the opposite side where the baby's feeding. I'll catch that, and then I'm like, perfect. I'll dump it into my little container, switch them over, do the other breast, and yeah, this is really nice. I love it, especially because it doesn't count as pumping, which is cool. But it's the fact that, you know, it catches that letdown, catches those golden drops of goodness for the baby. And really, that is essentially how I've been building out my stash. I have over 30 ounces so far of just collecting, because I have tried using a pump. That was not fruitful for me. So I'm getting the Spectra S2. It's a hospital grade Spectra. That's coming in the mail. It should be coming tomorrow. This is helpful because I've been able to build up my stash just using this, because I would pump with my Medela pumping style advanced. Maybe the most I had ever gotten one time was an ounce, but that was because that was different, because all the other times I got maybe 5 milliliters, 11 milliliters. That's not a lot, and that was both breasts combined. Not good. So anyways, so with this I would easily like this morning in the one feeding, I caught 10 milliliters off of one breast, doing nothing, just kind of sticking it on, and that's it. At night, I easily gather up to 2 ounces just doing this, just putting on the Haakaa on the opposite breast of where baby's feeding. I'm telling you, this is magical. I'm like, I love it. Like, people need this in their life, in my humble opinion. But anyways, those are some of the other things that I've used that I haven't seen people use. Not that people don't use them, but people in my circle haven't used them. So the Haakaa, this is called the SNS, and then the Dr. Brown's bottle. Anyways, if you use any of these, let me know what's your experience been like. I mean, breastfeeding is not easy, but in general, parenting is not easy. So we got this, just gotta take it one feeding at a time. Until next time, bye.